Good evening and welcome to 1010 News, your top 10 news in 10 minutes. I'm Andy Hong. After a week of absence, it really is good to be back. I hope you all are having a lovely winter break. This last week was marked by a host of terrorist threats to school districts around the United States in a sensitive time after the San Bernardino attack. Threats included districts such as Houston, Dallas, Miami, Clark County, and most significantly New York City and Los Angeles, the latter of which is the largest school district in the country. The emails were pretty similar in content, threatening the use of bombs and automatic weapons, but differed in the number of attackers. The Los Angeles Unified School District went into complete lockdown when the district received threats of 32 attackers armed with cell phone-triggered bombs. In contrast, the New York City district ignored the threats and ordered the schools to go on with their day, citing the non-capitalization of the word Allah in the email as evidence that the threats were a hoax. In any case, none of the attacks actually occurred, fortunately. And investigators are trying to track down the emails to the sender. The sender has not been found, but they have found a single server through which all of the emails have been sent through that originates in Germany and is operated by Vincent Canfield, a Maine native and college dropout who lives in Romania. According to CBS, he has contacted the lawyer who represented Edward Snowden. Illuminati confirmed? Perhaps. New fighting in northern Yemen near the Saudi border despite the ceasefire has killed 68. The United Nations has advocated a ceasefire and peace talks in Switzerland for the past week, but it clearly has had little to no effect on the war. Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Al-Qaeda has waged a three-way proxy war in Yemen under the premise of a civil war there between Houthi rebels and government forces and left nearly 6,000 people, half of which are civilian, dead through airstrikes and ground combat. It has been reported that the Kenyan cholera outbreak has reached the world's largest refugee camp, Dadaab, in northern Kenya near the Somalian border. As the outbreak was declared last month, more than 300 patients, of which 30% are children under age 12, have been admitted to treatment centers. There has been seven reports of cholera-related deaths within the refugee camp, a home to 330,000 refugees fleeing from violence and insecurity. All the great efforts are being made to spread treatment centers around the camp. There has been a lack of resources and funding, which prevents the camp from keeping the refugees safe and clean. Research has shown that the disease has prevalently spread throughout Kenya and into Dadaab due to poor hygiene, living conditions, and a lack of investment in sanitation. Not much time had passed after the historic climate deal in Paris for US and China to be at each other's throats again. The Spratly Islands, just off the shore from the Philippines, are a series of disputed islands in the South China Sea, as China claimed the maritime territory, even though the islands are about as close to China as Madagascar is to Egypt. That's an exaggeration, of course, for you geography nerds out there, but it highlights the absurdity of the claims. Anyways, just 2 months after an American warship excited tensions by sailing within 12 nautical miles of the islands, an American B-52 bomber is reported to have flown within 2 miles of a reef of one of the islands, possibly due to bad weather, and sent the Chinese military to high alert. The Defense Ministry is currently working out the details. So I just stopped the mic there. Hopefully it wasn't too loud for you guys. This week in the 2016 presidential race, the Democratic Party had its first remotely amusing conflict. Bernie Sanders' campaign and Hillary Clinton's campaign got into a row when the Sanders campaign was accused for accessing Clinton's campaign data, resulting in the Democratic National Committee suspending Sanders' access to critical voter data. But to follow our guilty pleasure, let's talk about Trump. He once again showed the world that he just doesn't give a single flying piece of a strand of a 50-year-old shoelace, whatever that means, for a shred of decency in that latest GOP debate on CNN, even after being overtaken by Ted Cruz in some Iowa polls. The man once again showed us the true definition of #NoFilter by sharing a bromance moment with Russian President Vladimir Putin as they complimented each other, with Trump going as far as calling Putin a leader unlike what we have in this country. I mean, if he wants Obama to start killing his political enemies too, he should start worrying about taking his names off building and blending in with the crowd a little to throw off the assassins. And perhaps the most satisfying news of the week, Martin Shkreli, former Wall Street hedge fund manager, CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals, and overall just bad person, although much stronger words are applicable. Well, he angered a lot of people when he hiked up the price of a life-saving pill for AIDS patients from $13 to $750 overnight. He went on to flaunt his wealth by buying a Wu-Tang Clan album, one of its kind, for $2 million. He was finally arrested last week by the FBI for a Ponzi scheme. He is out in bail right now, but we can hope for the best in terms of making sure justice is served. An anti-abortion group had released a video of Planned Parenthood workers discussing the sale of fetal tissue for profit, leading to several mentions in the presidential race by such candidates as Carly Fiorina, influencing a congressional movement by the Republican Party to defund Planned Parenthood and most recently influencing a shooter to attack a Planned Parenthood center in Colorado to kill 3. Oh, I spit all over here. Hopefully the camera didn't catch that. The lighting certainly did. In a recent court case for an injunction per request from the National Abortion Federation to halt the release for the recordings to the public, however, U.S. District Judge William Orrick stated that the recordings, quote, do not show criminal activity and could put the providers in risk, unquote. And finally, the Zadrilga Act, an act providing further healthcare for 9/11 first responders, was passed by Congress as they agreed to extend healthcare for 75 years. It's good news, but it's also terrible news at the same time that it took years of work for the first responders to make trips to Capitol Hill to shame the politicians that passed the bill. It's absolutely ridiculous. We nearly lost healthcare for our first responders when Congress ignored the deadline to renew funding on September 30th. As it should be, the bill passed the House 316 to 113 and the Senate 65 to 33 under bipartisan agreement. To those who voted nay, think long and hard on your priorities. Although much rain has poured down in Buffalo and New York during this winter season so far, snow had yet to fall until Friday afternoon around 2 p.m. The locals happily welcomed the snow as it broke the record for the longest time of having no snow in the Buffalo area during the winter season. Last time in 1899, the first measurable snowfall came in December 3rd. However, it took 2 more weeks for the first measurable snowfall of this winter season to hit the Buffalo area. Last year, around this time, over 100 inches of snow have fallen due to the lake effect the previous month, which caused 7 feet of snow. Forecasts show record temperatures as high as 60s during the holidays around the East Coast, and colder holiday temperatures will hit the West Coast. I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining outside right now for us. Was that thunder I heard, or was it probably a plane? The rain's hitting the warehouse door pretty loud. If you guys can't hear, I apologize. But now let's go to Brian Kidd for the latest in science. Brian?
Thanks, Andy. It has been reported that scientists have discovered a black hole twisting the surrounding fabric of space-time. Researchers have captured this great incident by analyzing the X-rays emanating from the debris around a black hole 28,000 light-years away in the Milky Way galaxy. This incident has been greatly recognized as the best evidence for frame dragging, an effect on space-time predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity. Further research has been ongoing as scientists study the iron-emitted X-rays as a scanner to view black hole disks from different angles as the material orbits. Scientists look further to test Einstein's theory in order to better understand the conditions of matter caught in a black hole's gravitational clutches. Back to you, Andy.
Thanks, Brian, and this was the 1010 news for this week. I'm Andy Hong. Winter starts in a few days on the 21st. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week with more of your top 10 news in 10 minutes. Stay educated.